Absolute Batman issue 8 has officially come out, and we got our conclusion to the conflict between Batman and Mr. Freeze in the Absolute Universe, and set up for what could potentially be our next introduction to our following Rogues Gallery for Batman, and potentially the bigger conspiracy revolving around Arc M. But this issue was definitely insane, and I can't wait to jump in and talk about it. But you know the drill. If you like me talking about Absolute Batman and want to see me keep covering it every single month, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps. It shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Now let's get on to Absolute Batman issue 8. And we start the issue off with Absolute Mr. Freeze dragging an unconscious Bruce, as last issue he touched his face and knocked him unconscious. As we get a flashback continuing from last issue with Waylon as he keeps confronting Bruce, as we continue the second part of the Absolute Zero. Freeze drags Bruce into a lab of sorts as he begins to say, "Alright, Mr. Pennyworth, or whatever your name is, let's get you." But before anything else, Bruce tries to strangle him by grabbing his throat. But Freeze grabs Bruce's hand as he then falls unconscious once more, as the cold begins to set in on him once again. Bruce then regains consciousness quickly, but he's strapped in a container as Freeze ends up telling him, "Good, I hope you enjoyed your rest. There won't be any sleeping in the ice after all. The pain won't let you." As he goes on to reveal more people behind him, saying, "That's right, look around you. You're in high company. There's some of Gotham's wealthiest members of the Powers family, the Gates. All of them came here at the end of their lives, believing the ice would be an escape, one they could take to find everything fixed and forgiven on the other end." Freeze then opens up the hole above Bruce as he goes on to say, "But the ice isn't salvation. It's the memory of all you want to forget. It's vengeance." He pulls the lever as the container begins to fill, with Freeze leaving, with Bruce yelling in pain. Freeze goes on to say, "Now as your body temperature drops, you might feel a burning hypothermia. Scrambles the brain thermal regulation. It's why so many people freezing to death remove their clothes. Don't worry though, soon the suffering will pass beyond hot or cold. Of course, for the first 30 years or so, you'll want death. But after that, hopefully, if you're like me, you'll come to accept it, even love it. The pain," with Freeze walking away. We then cut back to Crime Alley with Bruce continuing his conflict with Waylon. Waylon tells him, "You can try to hurt me, but you leave now, you're no better than Matches was." As Bruce is wondering what he means by that. Waylon says, "It means you're a damn coward, and so is Batman." With Bruce in anger tackling Waylon. And as Bruce is freezing over, he gets these horrific nightmare images in his mind from the days that died, the bats, the gun. Everything is going in his head as he's feeling everything burning, as his cells begin to shriek from the pain. We then cut back to the flashback with Bruce and Waylon continuing to fight. Bruce saying, "But I'm a coward, right?" But Waylon says, "Yeah, you are. See, Ozzy told us how you went on Black Mask's ship, jumping out onto the boat without a way off." Bruce is trying to say, "And what's your point?" But Waylon smacks Bruce around and lays him on the ground, saying, "And that was a suicide mission, just like this one is." And I love this two full pages going from Bruce in the tube slowly filling up to freeze him as he's going over how to get out, with Waylon filling in some more gaps. As back in the flashback, we cut back between Bruce right now in the tube and Matches at the zoo at the time of the shooting, as apparently Matches blamed himself also for Bruce's dad's death, because Matches was the last kid outside that Thomas needed to help, and so Matches blamed himself for it, and Bruce didn't know that in the time. Waylon goes on to say, "We all know why he stayed out there, but Matches felt it was his fault, just like you do, because you got us the trip to the zoo in the first place." All while we're cutting back and forth, with Bruce managing to launch a mini batarang from his cast that's still on him, thankfully, to begin to crack and break the container he is in. With Waylon still saying, all those years, he let it eat him up, until he was down to zero, nothing. Thus, back in the alley, with Waylon going up to Bruce, offering his hand, saying, You're not there, are you?" As Bruce grabs his hand, as Waylon picks him up. But before we see what's up to the flashback, we cut back to Mr. Freeze, talking to some mysterious person all over the comms, as Freeze goes on to talk about the snowfall and how it has these markers in it, and that anybody whose skin this snow touches will be able to have all their data readable, everything from them, from their genetic profiles. And they managed to get about 92% of the city's population. But as Freeze ends up being asked about someone giving him trouble for one of the Maloney family members, all Freeze says is, "Maloney was a nobody. I don't expect anybody else to come knocking." As Batman breaks down the door, confronting Mr. Freeze, saying, "I heard you like pain," as he lights up a little flamethrower that he has on his wrist. As he then launches towards Freeze, trying to get the upper hand, hitting him with the flamethrower and managing to push him back. Going on to say that Freeze is strong, and the ice is woven into his muscle fibers, so he has to avoid that and keep hitting him with the fire. Freeze looks straight at Batman, and Batman keeps up the pressure, launching the extendable bat talons towards Freeze. But Freeze lunges up towards the ceiling, crawls across it, and then, before Batman can react and get out of the way, Freeze grabs onto Bats' face and then slams him into the wall, creating a crater. With this intercut with another flashback of Bruce with Waylon, as he says, "We're not done yet, man. Come on up." Bruce tries to goad Freeze more, saying, "That all you got?" With Freeze saying, "Well, it seems you like the pain too. You're in good company here. See?" As he presses a button while he's hanging from the ceiling, as an ominous look, as all the people he has frozen, their eyes open up and glow red, with their casings beginning to open up. As intercut with more flashback to Crime Alley, Waylon tells Bruce, "Now I need to ask you something. Do you want to die?" "You heard me, Bruce. Do you want to die?" Is that all Batman is to you? Back at the zoo, standing outside the door this time. Obviously showing that Bruce, with the guilt that he feels over, them going to the zoo because of him and his dad's death, basically making Batman the person outside to confront this seemingly suicide mission that he's on. And it is interesting to see if Waylon is basically asking Bruce if he has a death wish, wishing that he could just die doing something like this to kind of make up for it. And I do kind of like this. But the people that Freeze let go end up charging as a mob of zombies towards Batman as they all run towards him. Bruce tries to fight them off, but he manages to punch off someone's jaw, and as he keeps pushing them back and forth, parts of their bodies begin to fall off due to them being thawed out by the ice and it altering their body structure, and they're incredibly weak. Also intercut with more flashbacks with the Crime Alley. Waylon lights a match, saying, "Because your dad, he didn't want to die, and it wasn't his death that made him a hero. You hear me? It was his life." With the match lighting up in the alley, showcasing everyone no longer in silhouette, as Waylon says, "That's the hard part, man. Getting through, not letting it crush you, but that's what we do here in Crime Alley. We're survivors. So Batman needs to be one too, understand?" As now the matches light up, showcasing a mural to Matches Malone in honor of him for his friends, paying respects. And in this instance, Waylon gives Bruce the push he needs to make sure that Batman thrives. Basically accepting that he is Batman and that he is fighting these threats, but more importantly, wants him to survive. Not to just go in expecting to die, but to go in expecting to come back. And I really like that. His friends are basically accepting his whole thing of being Batman, and that's definitely going to change things for their overall dynamics. With Waylon asking Bruce once more, intercutting from the flashback to the present with Bruce fighting off these basically zombified freezes, with Waylon asking Bruce, "I'll ask you one more time, do you want to die?" All intercut with Batman fighting through, as Bruce tells Waylon, no, I don't want to die. And with that resolve, Batman breaks through the horde of basically zombified ice people and manages to crash through the wall, falling down the building, catching himself from the building and softening his fall as he tries to call Waylon and let him know that there's something bad in the snow, and to call everyone else because there's something wrong. Saying that he'll explain everything when he gets back, but he also wanted to tell Waylon thank you for everything. That's all he wanted to say, and that he was right. With Waylon getting back to his gym, with two people in cloaks, chloroforming him and knocking him unconscious. They then prick his arm, scanning it, as they say that he is a perfect specimen, and now they are going to take him to Arc M. And that concludes Absolute Batman issue 8. And man, was this an insane issue. Bruce didn't even beat Absolute Mr. Freeze. He managed to get out of there, prioritizing the safety of his friends over trying to break through to Mr. Freeze. But he did learn some important information that Freeze's artificial snow that he has admitted to making is basically scanning people by touch, finding perfect genetic specimens right now. And with what happened to Waylon at the end of this issue, the people in charge of Arc M, working with Freeze, are finding people in Gotham to bring to Arc M. So it's not a prison or an asylum, but it seems to be some experimental facility, which could potentially mean that we're going to get a tragic origin to this version of Waylon becoming Killer Croc, most likely due to Arc M's experimentation, and I'm curious to see what that's going to be like and how that's going to affect Bruce going forward and the rest of his friend group, because this issue, if anything, cemented Bruce's resolve to live as Batman, and not just for himself, but for his friends and the city, wanting to come back, not throwing his life away. And it shows that the first thing he does after escaping is call Waylon and warn him, which I really, really love. It showcases a version of Batman that is now really willing to help people at the beginning of his career, and he has people that already know his identity and wants to make sure that they're all okay. And I really do love this new Batman, and I'm curious to see where this is all going to lead, because with what's going on with Waylon, we might get tragic origins for Bruce slowly seeing his friends, by most likely no fault of his own, getting dragged into this business and potentially turning into villain. Or we could get a version of Killer Croc that is like a friend to Bruce due to everything that's going on. But I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that. Also, the person Mr. Freeze is talking to, it's either the Joker, the absolute Joker, it could be Bane, or perhaps, since it's Arc M, it might even be Hugo Strange for all we know. And I'm insanely curious to see where this is going to end up. But that's all I got for you guys with this month's issue. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite part of this issue was. What are you looking forward to? I know for a fact that next month we're seemingly getting Absolute Bane. So that's going to be an interesting read. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And I hope you all have an awesome day.